What's up, all you hobby hooligans? I'm your host, Reikus from Captain's Comics in Northeast Ohio, North Kingsville, Ohio. And I'm here with my co-host.
I'm in there somewhere.
There you are.
There we are.
There you are.
Hey, very good. I am Nemo, KEAPVL, the president of Amigos Radio Club, Ashtabula, and amateur radio enthusiast. And thanks for being here with us tonight.
Yep.
We got some cool stuff to talk about. We're a little unscripted tonight. I mean, as far as topic goes, I know normally we've got kind of an agenda, but I think we're just gonna kind of talk about whatever comes up.
Right. We had someone kind of set aside for today, but things happen.
Yeah, we were going to have a call in tonight, but he had a family emergency he had to deal with, so we'll put him on the list for later on. He's excited to be here for sure, but take care of family first. Absolutely.
Yep. Family first before hobbies.
All right. So,
What's
man,
this I hear about this AI thing that you were telling me about?
so YouTube.
Yeah.
And I know we're leading with this, and a lot of channels. What's really crazy is a lot of the bigger channels aren't really touching on it, I think, as much as they need to, because they've there's a few of the bigger ones that have put like one episode or done a 10-minute segment on it, and then they kicked it out after that. They haven't really touched it, and I get it, you know, but we're on this platform, so. But what's happening is, and on the 13th, YouTube is going to be doing a rollout of an AI age verification thing that is going to monitor your usage and try and determine whether you are over the age of 18. And if you are not over the age of 18, they're going to demand ID to continue using YouTube as an adult.
So they're gonna look at all the content you're viewing and determine it's gonna be smart and try to figure out what you are
Yes.
by what you watch.
And to some extent, YouTube already does a lot of that stuff, but not as well as people would like. And there's been a lot of criticism going on and off YouTube. If you look at like for instance X and other platforms that are out there, social media platforms, Facebook too, I think, and they've done it too, sort of to some extent. That you'll see there's a bunch of people criticizing it, but the YouTube channels themselves, I've only found a handful that are willing to take the risk to talk about it. And the reason being is because they don't want to get caught up in it too. But basically, it's going to try and monitor what you're doing and what you're looking at, and how you're interacting. And if it determines that you're a kid, the under 18, they're gonna turn your channel situation and your viewing situation into basically a minor, a kid YouTube channel, YouTube viewing, your account. So there's one good thing about that, and that is you're not going to get targeted ads anymore. But the bad thing about that is you're not going to be able to live stream anymore. You're going to get bedtime notifications,
Right.
which some of us adults might need. But
As a parent, though, my kids watch YouTube all night long, and we have our own governings on YouTube, so we know what our kids watching. We don't need an AI to bot our kids. In fact, I find it would be a little bit more of a hinder because we do a little bit of homeschooling, and some of the stuff that we find on YouTube helps us school our kids. So say we're learning about anatomy or something like that, YouTube blocks that. And I get why they do that, but it's also off my kid's account where we're learning about, arteries and things like that. And my kids can't watch this. We have to figure out a way to bypass that.
well, there are people that are already figuring out a way to bypass it. And I'm not going to get into some of those
There's loopholes and everything.
because there's always loopholes and everything. But the more so the concern is, are they going to get it right? And if they don't get it right, what's going to happen? So our channel isn't monetized, but our channel has a lot of content that's, not geared towards kids. We're an adult channel, obviously, but kid related stuff, comic book collecting,
Right.
toy collecting,
Well,
modeling.
I figure
kids.
our channel's pretty well of a topic matter that's all ages. You're not going to come and see us. We're not going to swear. We're not going to, have anything like obscure. I don't want that on our hobby channel.
Right. We try and be a respectful channel as far as that
We're
kind of
not
stuff goes.
we're not focusing on kids, but if a kid's watching, I don't think there's going to be anything we're going to put on here that's not going to be.
Well, but here's the thing, and maybe I guess I don't. So, me, I'm a big fan of a lot of '80s stuff. For instance, after watching, I'm binge watching Walking Dead, not '80s, but
Mm-hmm.
but that's in my own private DVD collection. Yes, I still use DVDs, and then I go and lay down, go to sleep, and I'm like, I can stay up for another hour. So what do? I find the channel on YouTube that is streaming Voltron. And I watch a couple episodes of Voltron. So if you look at my viewing on YouTube, it's kind of funny because I won't get into what my viewing beforehand is because I do watch a lot of political stuff and news related things before like 10 o'clock. But then when I go to bed, I'm watching Voltron or Robotech. The whole series is on YouTube. And there's a bunch of other ones too. Masters of the Universe is on there.
If I was an AI bot and I seen you watching that stuff, I would definitely not think you were a kid. I don't know what kid would watch Voltron and Robotech. That just sounds like someone, an adult, reminiscing and being nostalgic about their youth.
Well, okay. Is that really though? I mean, I was a kid. Perfect. Exactly. Those cartoon shows were watched by kids.
But
Now
you've
we're
grown up now.
older.
I mean, this generation's watching stuff. I don't know what cartoons they're watching now, but they're definitely not watching Voltron. I think you're safe. I think AI is going to come back with a age score of like 40 plus for
Well,
you.
so well, probably, and I'll take that compliment. But so there's some other ways that can affect you, and it's already there's been people coming up with it already and saying, hey, these are things that I've already had to deal with patch glitches, with YouTube rollouts, and like for instance, if you run a toy channel and it accidentally decides, toy review channel, and it accidentally decides because your demographic is a lot of kids and you actually appeal to that, and it decides your channel is that, then, and you're a monetized channel. Like, we don't have to worry about that yet, but I'm sure we will at one point. So if you're a monetized channel and you suddenly get classified in the kids range and now you can't stream. Now, and that's even after you've already given them all the information that you need to become a monetized channel. So you're literally in a situation where if you're a once a week YouTuber or a once a week podcast on whatever platform, the revenue that you would bring in from YouTube, you've lost it. If you're a big YouTuber, people watch you and you've got 10,000 people, 20 plus thousand people, and I'm saying those guys are mid-range that are watching with subscribers, blah 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 blah. You're losing that revenue because of a mistake the AI made. So that is one thing that can affect it. That
Right.
really could hurt us as content creators. And I just think people need to look into it, do some digging, be aware of what's going on out there, and try and figure it out. But it's a little bit bigger than that because it also goes into platform digital information sharing, and that's digging a little bit deeper into the the subject matter than the surface level that we're talking about here. But I definitely think people need to look into what's happening and take a look at it. And to me, it's about legislation. You know, I know we try and not be a political thing, but when you look at why these companies are putting these age verifications in place and all that, it's really because there's legislation going through that's kind of forcing their hand in those situations.
Of course.
So it's up to us, both as parents, you know, and as users, to sort of put the words out and say we don't, fix it. It's legislation. People say, oh, we want to do it to help protect kids, except is that really? Is that really?
Right.
It fix the legislation and we won't
You're
have the
damaging
problem.
more than you're fixing.
Yeah, fix the legislation, and you can't tell me that data breaches don't happen, because it's about and that's the biggest concern. Is there going to be a data breach between Google and Discord? Discord will want you to do it too. I mean, they already do to some extent. So if Google is the sharing base that you're using for Discord and YouTube, or Meta and Instagram and Twitter, what if is there a data breach there? We've already seen huge data breaches on platforms over and over and over again. You can't tell me it's secure. I know better. I don't care how much AI security you put on it. Somebody will figure it out and get your information.
Right.
So that's my thoughts.
Interesting. We'll have to see how it plays out, because, I think there's a lot of checks and balances. If I mean, we'll have to see.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how it's going to play out. I'm not sure we'll talk about it much more after this episode, just because
It's not hobby related.
it's not hobby
but
related,
it is
but
it channel
is
related.
channel related. It's hobby
Right.
channel related. I can think of several hobby channels that might become affected by it, just because of where they're at, how their presentations, their user base, their or clientele, viewer base, whatever. So just look into it, make your own opinion on it, and remember, it's not just the company; it's legislative.
Right.
So you've got some stuff coming up here, huh?
I'm pretty busy this weekend. A lot of stuff going on. Um, I'm gonna be set up at a yard sale in Girard. It's gonna be Girard's Lake Road mile long yard sale,
All right.
and I'm setting up at my friend's sister's house 'cause she lives there, and he's I've talked to him about coming on the show. He's a record collector. He's built a massive collection of vinyl records, and he's been on a small little documentary that some guy did on it for his college paper for his a grade. And I watched the documentary. I'm like, that'd be great. I think would be great if we put him on the show and film some of his stuff. It's amazing what he amassed, and he does buy, sell, trade records. And I've had him in our store, not him, but his records, and I was like the in between, for that. And every time he does like a flea market, he lets me know, and I usually set up next to him. And, you get your comics and records combo. And so I'll be setting up next to him at the Gerard's yard sale a mile long. That's He's gonna be doing it Friday and Saturday. I'm only gonna have time to do it on Saturday, so I'll be there Saturday. But if you want some vinyl records, or if you're hunting for a record, this guy's gonna be your guy. He's your go-to vinyl guy.
Well, record collecting is a great hobby, and I've known plenty of people that have collected records over the years. I come from the record era, so that'll date me a little bit. But yeah, actually, that's not a bad hobby at all. And
Right.
I would love to have a guy like that on the show. I'd be really interested in seeing his collection and checking it out.
Well, this guy lives music. He's constantly going to concerts, and I can't tell how many concerts he's been to, but I was like, "What are you doing this weekend?" He's like, "Oh, I got this concert and this concert." I'm like, "Holy cow, you're a busy guy." He's retired too, so he's just living the dream.
Well, some people say when you retire, you get a little bit busier, but yeah, usually when you've got that, if you've got a record collection like that, from what it sounds, you're into music, absolutely, all kinds, and I'm sure
Mhm.
he's got plenty of it.
So I'm excited that he let us said okay to us filming his hobby, and I think it's gonna be great.
So we should be getting him on the show here pretty soon then.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I'll be looking forward to doing that shoot. Man, it's a shame we didn't do it just a few weeks back. We could have laid out an entire Ozzy collection. Maybe we'll add that as part of it.
But
All right.
I think I'll be doing that Saturday. And what do you got going on Saturday?
Well, man, I don't know exactly what I'm doing Saturday. I've got so many irons in the fire.
We're pretty busy.
We are pretty busy. I should be building a barn with a bunch of Amish folks, or pole building anyway. I should be going to the fair. I should be cutting wood for winter time. I should be doing a lot of different things.
The
So
fair, is that the county fair?
the county fair, I should be the county fair. Yeah, I might do that one day this weekend,
That fair has a lot of hobbies in it.
and that's why I think we should go, and I think we will. So I've reached out to the fair folks, and they said we're fine for coming to shoot there. So we'll probably do that.
I got a friend that's does demolition derby. I was thinking about going there just to watch that,
What a great hobby!
but
Smashing the biggest things you can find is always fun.
I didn't reach out to him, but I did look at his page, and it looks like he's gonna be doing a different fair today or that weekend.
Cool.
But he'll be demolition derbying. I'll probably reach out to him, see what
So
he feels.
I got a comic book question for you.
Yeah.
So lately, I've been seeing, specifically in gas stations, a specific group of gas stations. I've been seeing DC comics,
Yep.
Superman's, Batman's. Is this new marketing? Is it going through the traditional distributors? Is it desperation on the comic book
It's
side, the comic book creators side?
it's a lone wolf trying to go back to the roots. DC Comics, they're trying to figure out how to get back to being on top. Uh, Gas stations and grocery stores and your convenience stores was a place to go before there was comic books, and that's what got kids collecting comic books, right? That's I remember going to a convenience store and be like, "Oh, what's this Superman comic book?" And I would bug my parents or whatever, and finally I would get a comic book. It was through a convenience store, and that got me in. That opened the doorway to comic books for me, and I started buying my monthly comic books at a convenience store until I found out that there is a newsstand that has more of a comic book collection and back issues. It's a way to for kids to get a better way of because kids don't go to comic book stores, adults do. Most of my clientele at my comic book stores are adults, and sometimes they would bring their kids. So it's not a easy way for kids to get to the comic book store, but they have a local gas station. They're always going to a gas station because their parents are, you know, they need groceries or something. And then there's a comic book store or comic books right there. Like, hey, and it might open the doorway for these kids to read comic books, and then they would have to go to a comic book store to get back issues because you're only getting like whatever's coming out on that
Right, the newest
the newest.
ones. Yeah, for me it was the newsstand at the grocery store. Going to the grocery store with my parents, and there was always a newsstand aisle with all the newspapers and all the magazines,
Mm-hmm.
uh and there was a Mad magazine. For me it was a Mad magazine. And it was like, let's get the Mad magazine, and my parents would read it too. My dad, he would read it too, but I was getting it for me. My favorite one was the Scratch and Sniff Mad magazine. I
Right.
actually had a copy of that for a minute, but I sold it to somebody. And that was, you would scratch it, and it all smelled like newsprint. There was nothing it smelled like, but
There was one comic book that smelled. It was a Ren and Stimpy issue 1, and it was polybagged. You open that up and you scratched it, and it smelled like kitty litter.
oh,
And people would put that in their collection. And no big deal. But years later, they would go through their collection. Their whole comic book collection would smell like kitty litter. But that's off topic. Going back to the grocery stores now. A lot of retailers are getting upset that DC decided to go this route of doing their publishing. Ever since Diamond Distribution fell apart, it fracturized the distribution for every publisher. DC's been trying to figure out how to do it, and their publishers got them into grocery stores. You only see DC's doing this right now. But the retailers are getting upset because comic book stores are on a thin wire right now. The it's it's kind of tough.
They're dependent on the new comic sales.
Right. So they're competing with your gas stations and probably your grocery store soon, maybe if it's going to go this route. But at the same time, it might be helpful because the kids are going to get to issue 47 of Batman or something. And they're like, oh, I like this Batman. But they're not going to be able to find 46, 45, 44, 43. The only way to find that is going to your local comic book store.
Right. So it's
a double-edged
sword, and it could funnel into the comic book.
It could be good, but it's already a bouncing act right now for comic book stores.
Yeah, I know there's been some of that, a lot of teetering, especially with the collapse of the distributors. And
so I don't know. I can't predict how this is going to affect the comic book stores yet. It just now happened not too long ago. I think we'll have to see. Only time will tell.
Well, we'll just have to watch, like many things, watch how it plays out.
Yeah.
All right. Man, so what else you got?
A lot of people come to my store and ask, what is a hobby? What would you define as a hobby?
Man, we could dedicate a whole show to that. I think a hobby is something you do that's creative and man, I think that's it. It's just something that you do that's creative, and you do it because you love it, you enjoy it. I mean, that's the basic things for it. I don't care whether it's role playing games or building birdhouses or playing guitar on the side. Or
at what point does a hobby turn into a job? If some hobbies, people make money off of that, but if you go a little too far, and now it becomes a job.
Well, is comic book collecting still a hobby for you, or is it a job?
I love comics. It's
All
a
right,
hobby to me.
so there you go.
It will always be a hobby to me.
Now, I know people.
Sometimes I get stressed out for them, but it's.
No, I definitely know people that they're like, oh, I crochet or I knit, and they say, well, why don't you start selling that stuff? And I actually used to be a vendor at flea markets and fairs, and I took my wife's stuff out there and my mother-in-law's stuff out there that they would make for us. And the coolest stuff that they made was always the stuff that you leave at home because they're making it for you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not that you can't turn your hobby into something that's commercialized. I mean, if you make tie-dye t-shirts and that's something you really enjoy doing, absolutely kind of monetize it, make money off your side hustle as a side hustle if you can. But I also know people that don't do that are like I said, they crochet or whatever, and they're like, nope, I don't want to start selling because then it would be a job to me. So that's kind of perspective.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest thing I think about having a hobby is, like Dan with DMG scale models that we just interviewed. He doesn't really sell those. He does them for himself, and he does them as gifts of love for other people. So I get it. It's, like that's not a monetary thing. Maybe one day he might get more involved in it. I do amateur radio. I don't do it because I want to make money off of it. There are YouTube channels out there that they don't make money directly off of amateur radio, but they do it. Their YouTube channel is about amateur radio. Of course, they make money off of it. Is it something they love doing? Absolutely. Same thing
Right.
with comic books,
You
playing
don't
guitar, any of that.
you don't have to understand every hobby, but most everyone has a hobby.
And it's mind clearing.
Hmm.
I think the mental health benefits of having a hobby are great, and I think more people need hobbies, and I don't count doom scrolling on YouTube or the internet as a hobby.
I see people collecting uh, loaf of bread ties, those little plastic clips.
Right?
I seen someone have albums of those things. It's like, okay, I don't get it, but they enjoy doing the hobby. There's a thing called a hobby horse. I don't get that.
The hobby horse people,
Yeah,
the guys that run around, the
is
girls
that a
mostly.
hobby or is that just called a hobby horse?
Oh, there's a hobby horse, which is the thing you put between your legs and you ride.
The
And then there's
horse
like
head on the stick.
yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
there's like I think there's like the cultural thing that goes. I've seen videos of them. They go to like malls and school auditoriums and they jump over hurdles and they do kind of like horse
Is that a
jumping.
hobby or is that just
I think it's a
some?
hobby, and
You think that's a hobby?
I would count it as a hobby. I mean, maybe they get participation trophies and stuff like that, but I mean, I would still count it as a hobby.
Okay, I don't get it, but
I don't get it either. There's some hobbies I don't get.
but that's fine. Everyone doesn't have to understand your hobby
Right, right.
as long as you are enjoying it and you get something out of it, and it takes your time away from, your day to day life.
I know a guy who makes birdhouses, and I guarantee he doesn't understand role playing games, and doesn't get that. So that's not a hobby for him.
Some
Okay.
people might not think role playing games a hobby.
I think it's a hobby.
I think it is too.
And I think it's a hobby that you can turn into a profession. I know guys who have done it.
Video games, that's a hobby.
Yeah, yeah. Video games. There's there's a lot of YouTube channels out there dedicated to YouTube games or I mean
Right.
video games like Call of Duty and all that. And they stream. They all started out as a hobby thing and like, hey, look at me, I'm good, or at least I'm cute for some of them or whatever.
Most sports you think are hobbies, or is that something else?
There is a hobby element to sports, just like there's a hobby element to like acting, just like there's a hobby element to just about anything. It's when you start getting paid for it and calling yourself a professional that I think it's.
I mean, that
I
might
guess
differ between sports then too. I think like
sure. I mean,
a
there's Beauty
football.
League football. Obviously, I've known some guys who were heavily involved in the Cleveland area in Beauty League football, and then there's the Cleveland Browns, who are also hobby, who are probably more hobby than any of the other NFL teams.
Right? But then you
but
have
but I'm still a fan.
you have bowling and all these other smaller sports that like throwing darts.
Darts.
Darts is a hobby.
Darts is a good one.
Yeah, I got a bunch of friends from back in the day that always wanted me to come out to the bar and shoot some pool and darts. That was their thing. They had dart leagues. I never joined it, but I think that was great.
Yeah,
I wanted to.
bowling leagues. That's all hobbies. Absolutely.
Axe
Even if
throwing.
axe throwing, I know a guy who does that. He has fun doing that.
I wouldn't mind getting to learn how to do that. I think that looks like fun.
I think it's all about the timing, how you throw it,
It's all in the
the
wrist.
distance. Yeah. I don't really know. I've never really tried, but yeah, it's a hobby. It's a
Mhm.
hobby too.
So yeah, all these hobbies. That's a little bit of a taste of it, and maybe we'll get more people
Uh,
on the show talking about their hobby.
I'll tell you what, I'm looking forward to getting more hobbies in here. And hey, if all we do is hang out and talk about hobbies, well, that's the whole point of what we're doing here is hanging out, talking about hobbies. And our hobbies specifically is what we
Mhm.
know, and we'll get more people in here. I was really hoping to talk about guerrilla theater tonight, but that's okay.
We'll get that next time.
Yep. It'll be soon, and hopefully that guy's family will get better, and we'll get him in here.
Guerrilla theater. What's the definition of guerrilla mean?
We'll talk about that next episode, maybe.
Oh, you can leave me hanging.
Leave you hanging.
Okay.
All right. So you got anything special that you want to hit the audience with before we get out of here?
Just
I got a couple announcements in a minute.
so what happened at my comic book store is we got this huge collection of GI Joes,
Right.
over 200 action figures, vintage, from back in the 82 to 90, maybe a little bit past 90, but that's a large amount of over 200 GI Joes, and we also have the Terror uh, Terror Terradome. That doesn't sound
The
right.
Covert Commander base.
Yeah, I keep getting that confused with the Turtles one because they both had like some Technodrome and the Terradrome, but we have the Terradrome,
All right.
and with the box and everything. If you go to our Facebook page, we've captured some of the pictures of it. We had special mail away ones. We had um, the fridge from football. He had a mail away action figure for GI Joe.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was going for quite a bit. We had some special awesome ones. And we're still going through the collection. We're still putting more out, but come check out our Joes because
Go get your GI Joes, because knowing is half the battle, and we know where to get them.
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, I got a friend 3D printing for our little GI Joe on set here.
Yeah, I donated a GI Joe for you.
Yeah, the comms guy. Yeah.
You remember his name?
I will. I promise.
His name was Dial Tone.
Dial tone. There you
Yes.
go. You know, I remember Soundwave because that's Transformers.
There's
All I
actually
remember about GI Joes is boom.
I think we priced out a Soundwave for GI Joe too. I think there's a Soundwave for him.
All right. All right.
So there's a Transformer Soundwave and no, Shockwave.
Shockwave.
Shockwave. I think there's a GI Joe Shockwave.
All right. So, Amigos Radio Club Ashtabula, we're setting up a booth out at the Pioneer Picnic Festival coming up here, the 135th annual Pioneer Picnic.
They've been doing that for 135 years.
135 years.
Every single year.
Every
Pioneer
single
Picnic.
year since then. Yeah. At one point, there were 5,000 people a day walking through that fair.
Mhm.
And they're trying to build it back up. And it's not that it's entirely died down, but you know, it probably died down to 1,000 people over the course of the weekend at one point, and it's been building more and more and more since I got involved with it 10 years ago. So there's a whole group of guys and that have been putting it together, and we got it. It's going on out there that weekend, August 29th through September 1st. That whole weekend, it's got Abe Lincoln coming out.
Yeah.
Yep, he comes out. He does the speech, does a big Q&A. Well, we got Civil War reenactors coming, and a bouncy house carnival with a Ferris wheel. I believe the stagecoach ride guy is coming this year again. There's a demolition derby. What are those Power Wheels demolition derby
Oh, cool.
for little kids, and there's a tractor pull that's going to happen, so that's pretty cool. It's like a mini tractor pull, like compact tractors and lower. There's just a bunch of stuff that's going to go on. There's live bands. I don't have the live band list in front of me right now, but I will next week. I'll make some announcements on that too. And it's just going to be great. It's 1809 Middle Road. So come out and check it out,
What day?
everybody. That's going to be September 29th, or I'm sorry, August 29th through September 1st.
Okay.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And the fair goes until like 11 o'clock every night, pretty much. Except Monday. That's going to wrap things up around 3. But there's going to be bingo hall. Tons of
Captain's
food.
Comics is going to set up a booth there.
You guys are setting up a booth
I'll
there.
probably
We're
be
setting
manning
up a booth there. Lots of great folks. There's going to be tons of giveaways. They're raffling off a really cool golf cart, and that golf cart will do. It's like I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it of the brand, but it has a 40-mile-an-hour top speed. It's street legal, has turn signals, all that.
I think at one point it's not the term golf cart's not going to
Yeah.
be relevant for that.
It's
That
got
sounds
a
like a
YouTube Bluetooth stereo built into it. It has a 60-mile range or something crazy like that. It's,
I think that belongs in a different category besides golf cart.
yeah,
You can take it to
yeah.
the golf course, but I mean that's some
You do donuts in that sucker. And there's going to be all kinds of stuff there. I know I know the Amboy Rifle Club is going to be there. There's going to be Cotton Candy Lady. There's going to be all kinds of stuff going on there. Blacksmithing guys.
If you say popcorn, I'm there.
There is a popcorn lady, I think, that's coming.
Perfect.
I'm not sure she hasn't, whether she got back to us or not, but I think she's coming.
That's my kryptonite is popcorn.
Popcorn. Me, it's peanut butter. I'm addicted to peanut butter. I'll admit it. Everybody knows that. If you know me, you know I'm addicted to peanut butter and coffee. All right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us tonight, and we'll see
definitely
you guys.
have a guest here. Probably next week.
No, next week we've got something else going. We've got some chopping to do.
I see. Yeah, I remember that now.
Yeah. But we're gonna bring more guests on. We've got some away missions to do this week.
Right.
So
We're gonna have more people oriented with their hobbies on the show.
yeah, absolutely. We're bringing more people on. It's just timing and scheduling.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody. Appreciate it, and catch us next week.
See you later.